My father's in prison because for 25 years he published the truth about what was happening in Hong Kong and in China. I think this is a story about a brave man who championed democratic values in Hong Kong, and as a result, he's in prison.
When things happen that are wicked, you have to call them out. And what's happening to Jimmy Lai at the moment is wicked. And we shouldn't forget that. He stands up for the values that we believe in, which sustain our democracy and our way of life.
This is a person that has these democratic values, which a lot of us in the West treasure, and it's the very foundation of our society here, right? This is someone who's in jail because of that. If you don't shine a light on my father's case, and you don't shine a light on Hong Kong, then these tyrants, they win.
If you want to look at what the Chinese Communist Party thinks the rest of the world ought to look like, you just look at what they're doing in Hong Kong. They're dismantling this society, bit by bit, piece by piece, sometimes large piece by large piece.
The other lie that the Chinese government is making every single one of us swallow is that the Hong Kong system, the rule of law, is still intact, which I think it's a tremendous lie. If you see this video and take nothing else from it, just know that through Dad's case, China is just forcing their lies down everyone's throat, is with how they are slicing through their legal system to get to my father.
In authoritarian regimes or nations that move towards authoritarianism, you always see a number of things. The trajectory is clear, that you start going after those who are critics and opponents, and then they go after not just journalists, but they go after the very publishing houses. And it has implications for us all.
My father was in prison because he spoke truth to power and printed the truth, because he believed that information is choice, and that choice is freedom. And that is the very core of what Apple Daily was, and before it was closed down.
Jimmy Lai's remaining in Hong Kong was a way of calling attention to the values and freedoms that were being dismantled by the government authorities. He wanted to make clear that those values were central to Hong Kong's identity and central to the aspirations of the Hong Kong people.
What we're seeing in Hong Kong right now is this blanket of fear. With a lot of these authoritarian regimes, they use fear as a currency, as a way to control its people. And that's what Hong Kong is at the moment.
There's a particularly strong connection, I think, between freedom of speech and the rule of law. And it's not surprising that the most corrupt, not the only corrupt, but the most corrupt societies are invariably those that don't have a free press.
In a person's life, there's a few moments when you sort of get the chance to stand up for what you say and what you believe in. And that's why he chose to stay and stand with Hong Kong and its people.
Jimmy Lai spoke the truth in person and through his media about the importance of those values to Hong Kong and to the society more broadly. The fact that he would stand in a way that involves so much personal cost and sacrifice is really the thing that I think distinguishes him as an example of somebody who is seen and is confronting, opposing this growing force around the world that all of us should be interested in opposing for our children.
On one part, I deeply respect what he's doing. Most people in his position wouldn't necessarily have done the same. It takes a lot of bravery, and it takes a lot of it really does take a lot of bravery. But on the other hand, obviously he's my father as well. I do miss him. I haven't seen him in more than 2 years now. I'm very proud of what he's doing, and I'm optimistic that everything that everyone's doing at the moment will be fruitful, and that I'll see him again one day.